Let me turn to jobs in America. President Trump is pushing automakers to bring production to the United States. He previously even chided companies for their plans to build plants in Mexico. Do you think the president's plans and sort of these calling out companies to, has that worked? Has that dictated different behaviors?
Look, obviously it's working because all car makers today are paying attention to what the president is saying. And all car makers who needs additional capacity because the market is in good condition and we are expecting consumer confidence to continue to build up. All those who needs capacity have a tendency and will have a natural tendency to build more cars in the United States within NAFTA. This being said, we are all watching carefully what's going to happen with NAFTA. Are we going to eliminate completely NAFTA? Are we going to be just change it a little bit to the border? Are we going to go towards bilateral agreements? We don't know. But in the meantime, without any doubt, everybody's paying attention to building more capacities and hiring more people in the United States.
What do you want to see from a bilateral trade deal? What's most important? I mean, you've lived with NAFTA at this point, and you know the benefits of it.
Yeah.
What do you want to see from a bilateral deal as they're negotiating this between Mexico and the U.S.?
Let's be fair. I ask my people in Mexico and my people in the United States. I tell them, okay, what can be done better for NAFTA? They had a hard time.
Really?
Telling me, yeah, because we have adjusted so much to NAFTA. It has been so much with us for so many years that in a certain way, we like the system. It doesn't mean that there cannot be another system. There can be another system. But I think we're going to, and we will adjust to a new system, whatever it is.
Yeah, but I mean, Wilbur Ross told us that the priorities are Mexico, India, and Japan. Walk us through those countries and what you would like to see is most important from a car maker's point of view.
Frankly, that means I think, what happens between the United States and India is not going to have any impact on us.
Okay.
I mean, what's going to happen between Japan and the United States will have,
big impact.
will have an impact on us.
And, yeah.
But the most important for us is what's happened between Mexico and the United States, because so far, this was one agreement, and it's a very strong agreement on which we all aligned our strategy, our supply chains, our investments.
Yeah.
Any change here is going to have a major impact on the strategy of all car makers, because we all adapted to this.
So what's the big change that you would anticipate?
Well,
higher prices?
No, I think what I understand is what the main issue is the fact that there is an imbalance in the trade between the U.S. and Mexico, and this imbalance should be reduced. Should be reduced. So everything going towards less imbalance is going to make the system more stable, and obviously we will contribute to that.
You were really a leader when it came to the electric vehicles. I want to talk to you about that and also the self-driving cars, because this week Nissan's self-driving car drove around London for the first time in Europe. That must have been something to watch. Is this the future, Carlos?
Oh, yeah. I mean, without any doubt, the future is electric, autonomous, connected. These are the three elements, and you're going to see a lot of technology coming into the product. Autonomous cars are extremely important because it's going to solve a lot of problems. First, safety, and second, it's going to allow older people to be able to continue to drive, even though a lot of them are losing their driver license today. With autonomous car, that's going to be much easier. You can also allow younger people to drive cars. So there are a lot of advantages to autonomous cars. That's why we see this technology coming very fast.
And just to be clear, autonomous means I could get in the car and drive it myself, but then I press a button and I just, if I don't want to,
exactly. You're still in the car. You're still in the car, and you are really, in a certain way, empowered to say, I want to drive or I don't want to drive.
Right.
Now, this is different from driverless cars.
Yes.
In the car without a driver, which is the ultimate step of this technology.
What about driverless cars? Do you need everybody to be driverless if you have a driverless car?
Not at all. Not at all. Driverless cars are mainly for commercial use. These are companies like Uber, taxi company are very interested into driverless cars, because I understand that one of the limits to their expansion is the fact that they cannot find enough drivers today.
Right.
So it's not a question that they want to substitute the driver. Is that in order to continue their expansion, they need to be able also to add driverless cars in some cities or in some countries where you cannot find enough drivers. And obviously the technology allows you to do that, except that the difference between a prototype and the mass market is that you can have a prototype working very well, except that when you're going to move to mass market, you need to have the prototype working in 100% of the cases. We're not there. Today, I have prototypes working very well in terms of driverless cars or autonomous cars, but we're going to need some time to make sure that in 100% of the cases, there will be no surprise.
Do you think the buyers of the future are going to be fleet buyers like an Uber? or do you think we'll still stay? Because a lot of people are saying, look, going forward, especially with driverless cars, you're going to see fleets, taxi companies buying fleets of cars, as opposed to individuals keeping up their spending on cars.
Maria, I don't think it's going to be either or. It's going to be both. That means we're going to continue to have the very classical market that we're having today. Let's not forget that 2016 has been a record year for the car industry. 92 million cars sold in the world.
Wow.
And it will continue to grow in 2017. Even though in many cities of the world, young people are not buying cars, we have a lot of limitation on the development of the classical industry. So on top of that, you're going to have the development of markets like, shared cars, shared services, Uber kind of companies. This is not on detriment. This is in addition to this. So we have to be ready to compete in both.
But has Uber taken market share from the industry?
I don't think so. I think it's adding something new that consumers are liking. Because at the same time that they may be taking some of the needs from one side, you have a lot of people accessing the car market by moving from the motorcycle to the car, or tricycles, like countries in India, where people are making this move from something else than the car to the car market.
Carlos, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Carlos Ghosn is the CEO of Nissan and Renault.